Welcome to your Aquarius horoscopes for the week of the 7th to the 13th of April. And we are focused on money this week, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But of course, in order to make money, we need to be focused on our careers. And that's where a little bit of an issue does kind of sort of come up for us, unfortunately, because first Mercury and then the Sun move into a square with Pluto, and Pluto's focus is actually on relationships. So it's kind of like, here I am. I am focused on my goals, my money goals, my career goals. Everything is great. One of those wonderful people that you love comes in and they completely distract you from it. And of course, we're Aquarians. So once we get distracted, it's really hard to get back into it again. I hate it. In fact, when I get distracted, when I'm on a roll and something comes in and distracts me, it's just like, ugh, I could have been done by now. Very frustrating. And part of it is Pluto's influence on change and transformation around your career, because of course we are starting off the week in the square with that Mercury retrograde, which is continuing in Aries, which can be a very aggressive and volatile sign, and then moving into a square with the Sun, which is where you shine. It represents where you shine. So it's like you're doing great in your career and somebody comes up to you and it's just like, well, I'm glad that you're doing great. Too bad I have all these problems, which is a really annoying thing to happen. I don't know about you guys, but it irritates the hell out of me when somebody does that. Well, even though I understand where it comes from. But I tell people all the time, I used to talk about my husband. My husband is great. Okay. He's not perfect, but he is amazing. And I just love him. And there's so many wonderful things about him. And I tend to gush about him a lot. And then I stopped like years ago because every time I would talk to him about him to other people, especially women, believe it or not, I would always be met with, wow, well, that must be nice for you that you have that. And, nobody else does. Right. And I started to feel bad. And so I thought, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I don't want to make people feel bad. And then one day this light bulb went off in my head and I was like, wait a minute. I put a lot of work into this relationship. He did not come out of a box like that. I did not come out of a box like this. We both have put a lot of work into our relationship. We communicate with each other. We listen to each other. We are flexible with each other. And it takes daily work. And I'm proud of that work that we've both put into it. So I refuse to allow somebody to make me feel bad about that. And I said, you know what? I am not doing this to myself anymore. I am going to celebrate my relationship. And if somebody that I'm talking to is not having the same experience, then maybe I can reach out and see what I can do to help them create that experience for themselves, basically. So this was actually something that came up many years ago, between 15 and 20 years ago, as a matter of fact. And I just sort of was like, you know what? No, I'm flipping this. I'm not feeling bad for my success. And people do that. They do it all the time, actually. You go, oh my God, look at this thing. It's amazing. And instead of getting, oh my God, way to go. That's so good for you. It's like, wow, well, it's a good thing that things are going well for you. I can't help but get frustrated by it. But the frustration is getting in the way more than the way that they're reacting. Because, of course, when I get frustrated, I hang on to that frustration for dear life. I just damn near choke it to death, and I know we all do it, right? So it is getting in our way. And being that we're in a Mercury retrograde right now and things are getting aggressive, this is their lesson. And my lesson is my lesson. And my only lesson in what they're having a fit about right now is how I react to it. That's it. None of the rest of it matters. That's all on them. And that's what we have to keep reminding ourselves so we cannot get sucked into drama that's not ours, basically. We do have Pluto in a sextile with Venus all week long, which is also focused on career. So now we have planets that are working together towards our career, and creativity comes into it, which is kind of interesting because I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a very creative person. I consider myself more of a logical person. So creativity outside of writing is not something that I'm really good at. I can't decorate something or play music or any of that kind of stuff. But I want to say that creative ideas and utilizing creative ideas in your career is actually going to be more successful than the logic, because the logic is in a square with Pluto right now. So it's actually a very clear, don't put your focus this way, put your focus this way, and have a little faith and see what happens. And we're kicking off the week with a solar eclipse, which happens on Monday, about starting about 12, just before 12:30 Central Time. In the United States, from Texas, most of the southeastern states are really going to get a very good view of this eclipse. It's a total solar eclipse, so you get the whole darkness during the day and everything. It's really exciting. The rest of us are not, it's not going to be as exciting, unfortunately. Depending on where you are in the United States, you'll see bits and pieces of it, but not the whole thing, unfortunately. You don't have to see it in order to feel it. And it is a new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which is the sign of rebirth and new beginnings. So there, and it's focused on career. So we're really looking at being able to utilize this energy in a very productive and creative way towards our career goals. You do want to be careful when you're manifesting, and this is where it could go all bad and completely wrong. And I hear this from people all the time, literally all the time. I am thinking positively. I'm only thinking positively about my job. But what they're not taking into consideration is how they're micromanaging how they want it to be, how they're worried about whether it's going to be a job that they like or not. All of those other side thoughts, and in some cases, our mental capacity to control everything gets in the way of a clear manifestation. So if any of that is coming up in your brain, it's not going to work. We have to be clear. We have to sound just open to opportunity and possibility and let it flow and see what happens. And I know that's hard to do. Trust me, I'm an Aquarian too. And one of the biggest control freaks on the planet. It's been the hardest lesson for me, and I'm still learning it. And if I can learn it, you guys can learn it too. So that's what I have for you guys this week. Very exciting stuff. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my coffee link in the description. Really appreciate the support. You guys are amazing. I love it. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic, the Aquarian Heavy Metal Psychic, and I will see you guys next week. You guys make it a great week, because, of course, you have the ability. We are so brilliant that we can't do anything but succeed, right? Unless we get in our own way, which happens a lot. Make it a great week. I'll see you next week.